use the cheapest drive, we use the best drives ever, because whatever data you store, it's your own business. Losing data in your business could end up in ruining your own business. That's why we are really focused on supporting you with the best quality ever possible in the whole market. And that's what we are standing for. Some of our, we call it trusted by professionals. Some guys are part of our G-Tech Extreme team, like Clinton Hahn or Nino Leitner. Maybe you know one of these guys. Nino Leitner is a German guy who is using our devices wherever he can. They are all our ambassadors. And meanwhile, a bit has changed in the industry. This 2018 Winter Olympics was recorded in 4K mainly. The next Olympics, 2020 Summer Olympics, will be recorded in 8K, fully 8K. So meanwhile, we have a slight little issue. We were part at the production of James Bond Spectre, which was recorded on the normal standard 4K, 6K somewhere, with about 4 terabyte data. Data production a day, and the whole thing ended up in 270 terabyte of full data for a movie. Okay, 270 terabyte can be handled somehow, not that big issue. But as we started to be engaged in Star Wars 8 was recorded on red cameras on the Monstro chipset with full 8K. They recorded raw, and here we ran into problems. Per day, they created 12 terabyte, which is not that much, but at the end, we ended up in nearly 1.5 petabyte of storage capacity. This causes some headache, but we solved it successfully with all our devices. So whenever you watch Star Wars 8, remember, funny thing that I was told 3 weeks ago in US, pretty informative, 50% of the world's data touched a device of Western Digital. I think that's a tremendous amount of data, and from our perspective, we can cover all your needs. So we start somewhere down in the corner on rotating hard drives with somewhere 4 terabytes around this. But if you go more and more professional, you may need to have some SSD devices with a nice speed, 500, 550 megabytes per second. 4K, 6K video cutting, we are somewhere here. Speeds are somehow 1.5 gigabytes per second, but you need the capacity. And at the end, if we are talking about 8K, you definitely need high-end SSDs, NVMe SSDs, which are somewhere 2.8 gigabyte per second for processing all that kind of stuff. And as you have seen the huge amount of data, these little babies above there, at the end we can offer a solution with somewhere 600 terabyte in. At this point, fasten your seatbelt. Now I would start with a 1.5 hour presentation. As we are in front of the lunch, I don't do it. Just only a short overview what we can support you guys with. A lot of consumer products which are pretty available in all the channels. Especially here the mobile SSD, which could fit for all you guys out there in the field having the need of a robust device. This one is full aluminum chassis, water resistant, and shock-proof, 500 kilograms weight. So you can even drive with the car over the device, nothing will happen, your data is completely secure. If you're inside your own office, 1 drive, 2 drive systems. That's the newest one, the latest one, Thunderbolt 3 device, up to 7.68 terabyte on an NVMe SSD. Don't get shocked with the price, it's tremendously expensive, but that's the one you definitely need if you're doing 8K raw video cutting This device is up to 2,800 megabytes per second in speed. And at this speed level, we don't talk about price, we only talk about performance. Formula One. Our babies, professional series, we have it outside. If you are interested in a solution offering up to 96 terabyte or offering SSD-based performance, again 2.8 gigabyte per second, please visit us. Even these babies are right now available, they are on the way. As you have seen the small SSD, that's the new SSD coming soon. So estimated time of arrival next month. The Pro SSD, which is again an NVMe SSD, 2.5 gigabyte per second throughput on Thunderbolt 3, made for video cutting out in the field. Okay, creative workflow. What is creative workflow? We start somewhere with picture creation based on photography, based on camera, through the whole process of editing and then at the end storing the data. Therefore, we have what we are calling the evolution series based on these little babies. A two drive, 2 spare, or 6 drive, 2 spare things. And that's what we call the professional series, the evolution series. We are working close together with Red Camera. We are working close together with Atomos. We are supporting both from within their own ecosystem. And shortly, we will also support ARI with a very special compact flash card, especially made for ARI. Be careful purchasing this card. It only works in ARI cameras, so don't need it for anything else. And due to the fact that SanDisk is more or less a sister of us, we also have a nice solution with an UHS 2 Type C SD card reader going up to 300 megabytes per second for injecting any kind of media directly from an SD card into the shuttle systems. At the end, that's what you may have seen from my side. That's the device I'm showing through the audience the last 2 days. That's the ATC chassis for secure transport of all your data. Whatever happens, any kind of drive can be damaged, or at least will be damaged if you drop it down to the floor. Some of the studios are now having set up a process that all data transporting within the studio area, like Warner, Universal, even the German Bavaria Film Studios, they are used to have these chassis, which is again water resistant. It swims in water, so it doesn't sink, it flows on water. It's shockproof, it's pressure resistant. Again, I step onto it, nothing will happen. That's the best way to secure your data if you are traveling out there in the field. And at the end, the big babies, just only to give you an overview what it is. It's our G-Rack system. It's a huge rack mount server. Ending up in 5 of these babies with a broad capacity of somewhere 700 terabyte in one system. These are the systems that are used by the production houses to store the finished recording at the one side, and even enabling unique individual video cutting stations to do their job directly, because these are not NAS devices like sending a file from A to B, working on the file at B and sending back to A. These are streaming NAS, so the main content will stay on the NAS and it will be sent by ATO cards or streaming devices into the cutting station. That's the biggest solution we can offer in an individual system. And at the back end, you may remember the big one which was there. The big one is an active scaler with up to 52 petabyte of storage, and these devices can directly talk to the active scalers. The active scaler is nothing else than a huge cloud located somewhere, but these devices can directly talk to the cloud systems, and that's the full solution at the end. So we are starting with somewhere 8 gigabyte with 20 grams and ending up at 5.5 tons and 52 petabyte at the end. That's what we call the creative workflow, and time for lunch. Thank you.
High five.
Yeah.